Could you
Hi.
all please mute? Everybody mute yourself, but don't like lose your
How do we mute ourselves?
shut up.
What are you doing?
And even
You
if
have
you
to
can't mute, you have to keep quiet.
To mute, you go in the bottom
the
left
one?
corner. There's a little microphone.
There.
Aha, did it. Okay, well, I am so excited. Thank you all for coming. I mean, I'm really like so excited about this. I wasn't going to do anything. You know, it was my third book. I didn't think you'd like have a launch party. And I don't know, I think it was Grace who said to me, of course you do. And then through Bookish Road Trip, which has been the best thing ever since I started this whole journey of publishing. Mary, when you offered that, it was like, this is perfect. And so thank you all for being here. All right, so the book is The Emerald Necklace. Of course, you see it backwards?
No,
That
we see
always,
it.
no, you really see it the right way.
Yes.
So many times it shows up backwards. Okay. My third book, it's 5 years ago. I had no idea I was ever going to publish one. I mean, it was a dream to publish one. And now that got published in 2020. And now 3 years later, I have 3 books out. Please don't expect a book a year from me. It's not going to happen. But I am thrilled with this book. For those of you who, I mean, I would imagine you've all been seeing all my stuff, but it's set in 1969 to 71. You have Rosalie, who's an insecure sculptor, and Fran, who is a best-selling novelist, and they have their own issues. And women are fighting for equality at the same time. And Fran and Rosalie have really bitter envy of each other and deep, long-held secrets. And then we enter Jill, Rosalie's granddaughter, and her heirloom emerald necklace that winds the story and the women all around together. I always wanted to write a story with a group of women, which I did in Sisters of the Vine, but I had this idea to write a story about a group of women who would get together on a weekly basis and talk about stuff. Because I had a client as a fitness professional, I had a client whose name was Rosalie. And she had this like salon at her house. And I used to think how great that was. And I wanted to write a book about it, but I didn't know what the women were going to talk about. And I was going to call it Tea at Rosalie's. Well, over the years, it just sat on the back burner. And after doing some research and figuring out what period of time I wanted to do, it all just started coming together. And the title changed, but I do get the words Tea at Rosalie's in there. So she's in there. And all my books have a piece of jewelry in there. And so when I was thinking about what my third book was going to be, I knew I had a piece of jewelry in there because Lisa Montanero, who's on here, the great Lisa Montanero, who branded me because I'm a brand. We're all brands if you write. Told me my brand was I have jewelry. So I didn't know what kind of piece of jewelry I was going to put in there. And I remembered a story, and we're just going to be quick with this because I have so many guests I want you to meet. I remembered a story when I had just graduated high school, and I went with my mother to Los Angeles to meet some cousins and to tour around. I don't know how my mother was still in touch with her old boyfriend. I mean, she had been married for a long time already, like 30 something years. But we met up with her old boyfriend and his wife, who had the same name as my mother. And she was wearing a ring that my mother recognized. And my mother complimented her on the ring and said how lovely it was. And later on, she told me that that was her ring. That had been my mother's ring. So I thought, oh, this was the beginning of the story, just this whole ring thing. I don't think it was an emerald. I remembered an emerald in my mother's jewelry box, an emerald ring, but I don't know, it all became an emerald necklace. So there we go. But if you have any questions, And you can figure out how to raise your hand, because on the bottom of the screen, there's this thing that says reactions, and you can raise your hand, or just put it in the chat, because Mary's gonna be constantly looking at the chat, and telling me. So anybody who's not muted, please mute. Okay, so now that we are all here, I don't know if everybody's here, but anybody who's an author, you got your books with you?
You betcha.
Come on. I want you to hold up your book. All authors, hold up your book so all my friends can see your books.
Fantastic story. All right, let's go over to
Judy, can you
from Briarcliff Manor, New York.
mute yourself?
I know it from looking at your blazer and your scarf, but you are a deadhead.
Ah, there, she did. Okay, everybody got their books? Did you all do that? Wonderful, yes? And put your titles in, because they have fabulous books. So put your titles in the chat, so you can all add to your TBR pile. Okay, I don't think Pamela Taylor is here yet. So if she shows up, we will have Pamela on, who is my editor. So Hope, where are you? Let's spotlight Hope and me.
Hi.
Hi, okay. Hope Gibbs just published her debut novel. It's right behind her, if you can see it. Congratulations. And would you tell us quickly just a little bit about your book?
And congratulations to you, and thank you for sharing your time with me. Very quickly, it's called Where the Grass Grows Blue. It's one woman's tangled journey to either accept her troubled past by embracing the power of forgiveness, or risk losing a second chance at love in a small Kentucky town. So that's what it is. It's obviously where the grass grows blue. Kentucky is the bluegrass
state.
It's
a gorgeous cover. It's a really pretty cover. Yeah. And I heard there's a real hunky guy that you have a crush on, one of your characters.
My main protagonist, she has kind of a love affair with this young man since they were in middle school, and it lasts for 25 years. And towards the end of my book, I thought I might start developing a little bit of a crush on Bradley Hitchens.
That's hysterical to have a crush. I think that's great, having a crush. Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Let's get back to gallery view for a second. If there's anybody have a question or comments or anything you want to know, we're popping back in here. Anybody? No questions in the chat? Nobody has a question?
Linda, since you're not looking at the chat, I wanted to let you know that Pam is here.
Okay.
But she does have to turn her camera on in order for me to spotlight her.
Okay, Pam Taylor, because I have no idea where you are. Can you turn your camera on, Pam? Did she do it yet?
Yes, her camera is on.
Okay, let's spotlight. Where? There you are. Okay. You're gonna have to turn off your mute, Pam. There.
I am muted because I have dogs barking.
That's okay, because we have to chat. I want you all to meet Pamela, who is my editor, and without her, these 3 books would not be what they are. And she has a phenomenal series called The Second Son Chronicles. Do you have a cover to show us, any of your books nearby? Do you have a book?
The first body here.
Okay.
And
there.
The cameras always show them in reverse, which
no, we're seeing it correctly. We are seeing it correctly. I thought the same thing when I showed my cover. But I wanted to ask you if you wanted to tell anybody, except you're frozen now. Can you hear me, Pamela? She's frozen. Okay. Okay, there you are. You were frozen. You were frozen for a moment.
No, I can hear you. I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you. It's good, because I just wanted to ask you if you had anything you wanted to tell everybody, any secrets or any funny stuff or anything about doing my books, editing my books. anything. It was all a pleasure.
Oh, working with Linda is the greatest fun. She's got such wonderful, working with Linda, wonderful stories. And every book, as I work on it, I think, okay, this one is better than the last one. And it just keeps getting better and better and better. So if you haven't read The Emerald Necklace yet, do so. It's quite a wonderful adventure back in time for those of us who lived it, and an incredible insight into the whole women's rights movement and how it has evolved. I thoroughly enjoyed working on this book, and reading it as part of working on it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. That was sweet. I thought you might have some like dirt to say, but I guess no dirt. Okay, so
Dirt.
whatever. But I will tell you, if those of you who may have read the book already, because I know some of you have, there is a scene where my characters go to the strike, the women's strike for equality on August 26, 1970. And I guess I really wrote it well because Pamela thought I was there, and I wasn't. And I
That's a
wasn't.
great
But
compliment.
yeah, it was
Great.
wonderful. But I did have some fabulous research. I was really fortunate to get in touch with women who were at the march.
But you were in
and
Westwood.
share their stories. So that was just really great. Okay, can we get back to gallery view, Mary? Anybody have a question before I go on to, were there other
You
questions
have
somewhere?
one in the
I have a
chat.
question.
Linda, you have one in the chat from Lisa. She wants to know if you based Jill, the granddaughter, on anyone from real life.
Not one particular person, but just thoughts. I mean, and this was 1970. Jill was 18. I was graduating from college in 1970. So, I mean, like with everything, some of you goes into a character, some of your friends go into a character. So no, it wasn't based on anybody in particular. None of the characters were based on anyone in particular. Especially when you find out that it's an insecure sculptor and a best-selling novelist. First of all, I'm not best-selling. And Marsha's, who you're going to meet, is not an insecure sculptor. So, but I pulled from everything and everywhere. And there's a little bit of like so many people who, create a character. So that's how they come about.
Linda?
Anybody, anything else?
Can
Yeah.
you hear me, Linda?
Yes. Yes, Joan.
I'm sorry. I have a brand new phone, so I have no idea what I'm doing and I can't see the mute button. I just want to know, I'm only reading ebooks or, on either
Right.
I could do a Kindle or my iPhone or I meant my
Right.
iPad. So where can I get your book as an
Right
ebook?
now, today, before midnight, you can get it on Amazon for $2.99.
Oh,
Kindle.
such a deal. Okay.
Yes,
Got it.
everybody.
Thank you.
Before
Thank you.
midnight, $2.99 today.
It's worth
and
so much more.
Oh, thank you. Well, it's a special deal. And I did find out the audio book is coming out on July 11th, and I'm thrilled. It's with Tantor, and I've listened to the narrator narrating other books, and I'm really, really thrilled with her.
Is
So
the narrator someone we would know?
I don't think so. No,
Oh, okay.
it's not
Linda,
no.
we do have more questions in the chat.
Okay, give me.
Gail wants to know more about your research process.
Okay. Actually, I just wrote a whole essay that will be in what is it called? Women's book. What is it, Grace?
Women's books.
Yes, it'll be on Facebook at some point. But my research, I did a great deal of research actually online about abortions back in the 20s and 30s. I was living in I live in South Florida part of the year, and I went to the Delray Beach Historical Society or whatever it's called. And I spoke to somebody there who was pulling newspapers from the time, and he happened to live in Delray at the time. And part of my book is set there. And so I did a great deal of research there and found out a lot of stuff that finds its way into the book. But my most fun research was with Marcia Knack, who you will meet very soon. She was my Google on the sculpting. But okay, we're going to bring in Marcia first because I just mentioned it. So let's get Marcia here, and then we'll do a little of my karaoke and then bring in Sarah. Marcia, let's
Yes.
do it.
Yes,
Are you
Linda,
go-
I'm here. I'm here.
I know, but Mary's going to spotlight us,
Okay.
I think. And until she does,
Your
well, we need
spotlit.
Marcia real. What?
Your spotlit.
I'm not.
Yeah, I can see you and me.
Yeah, no, but we're not spotlit,
Yeah, you are.
like just the two of us. No, we're all on the whole big gallery.
No,
No.
everyone else could see the two of you, Linda. You're good.
That's weird. Okay, anyway. Okay, Marcia.
Yes.
I went to Marcia.
If she's got
Let
Marcia
me,
here.
let me tell you. Marcia Knack
It's
is an
one of her
award-winning
characters.
sculptor. Kenny, you got to mute. Marcia is an award-winning sculptor who loves to work in clay from a live model. Her work appears in private collections in New York metropolitan area, and it's been shown in galleries, solo exhibitions, and juried shows. Marcia's focus and her passion lies in creating figurative sculpture through the exploration of the human body, which she says is an art form. As an art form, it's one of the most intriguing architectural delights, the human body. So what do you mean by that, architectural delights?
Well, each part of the body is supported by another part, as in architecture. The bones, the muscles, and when each part of the body is twisted or torqued, everything works together as simultaneously. So you get a figure in the round. Say if it's a twisted figure, the waist goes one way, the hips go out the other way, the legs come down the other way, the ears, the eyes, the nose. Everything is a sculpture unto itself. For instance, the ear is, each part of the ear unfolds like a flower, in the sense that the inner ear is connected to the outer ear, is connected to the lobe, is connected to, I don't know the medical, the actual terminology, but I've studied for artists, and so I understand how each form is represented by another form and how it works together.
Well, and your pieces, okay, her pieces, she's going to show you a few pieces that influenced Rosalie, but for some reason, I created a sculptor. My character was a sculptor. In my first book, I had a painter. Well, the second book, they were winemakers. But I don't know, I like to do something with artists, and it just came to me that she was a sculptor, especially when I did the research in Delray and I found out about all these studios which find their way. But I've played with clay, and I've done ceramics, but Marcia was teaching me everything. Was it a pain?
No, it was very interesting to teach you the process, because a lot of people look at the finished product and say, oh, that's nice, or it's not nice, or, that's great, blah, blah, blah. But they don't understand what truly goes behind the process in getting to the final product. And it was actually a labor of love to teach you, my friend, all the ins and outs and what's involved with the process and getting to the final piece.
Yeah, and there were so many pieces that have to go through it, and I would go back to her and say, did I get this right? Um, can you show us a couple of pieces that you have there?
Oh, geez, I thought you'd never ask. Let me see if I can do this now. Okay, so let's see if we can do this. Okay, so I selected a small little gallery of all the pieces I have. And for instance, this was done from a male model that I had, one of my favorite models, Angel. And
Okay,
again,
so now
go ahead.
I just have something, because Marcia taught me all about patina. And explain what a patina is on a
Okay,
sculpture.
so the piece is done in clay, and then it's scooped out, as Rosalie did, scooped out and fired. Once it's fired, then a process called patina is applied. Unlike ceramics, where you do what's the word? Glaze. I do a patina, which is like shoe polish, paint, buffing and sanding and buffing again until you get a nice finish that you're pleased with. So this was done with black paint and black shoe polish, and then waxed and buffed again and again. This piece, I don't know, can you see it? This piece was one of my favorites, and I actually had this piece cast and bronzed because I was so thrilled with it. Of course, it was one of my earlier pieces, so now looking back at it, I know, oh, this isn't right, that's not right. However,
well, that's the same as writing a book.
Exactly. So I'm still, the more you know, the less you know. It's a journey. But I still do love him very much.
Okay. And the bronzing, Marcia taught me all about bronzing because I had Rosalie have a piece bronzed. So I couldn't just write it in that, it was bronzed. I had to get into the whole nitty-gritty about it.
Right.
Show the hand. So
this, I hope that inspired the emerald. Let me just turn it. This is actually my hand that I modeled for myself. And so I had to get the information into my brain, and then work with both my hands to get the piece, if you follow what I'm saying. So in other words, I was the model for that. And so I was modeling and working at the same time on the piece. And
wow.
And
well, so that piece is going to bring me to Sarah very soon. Do you have one more to show us?
I do. Just another process I wanted to quickly discuss. So this one here. So this was also done from a female standing model. It's a full figure. It's a full figure, and I had a cast, as Rosalie did. I had a cast made of it, and then I've made copies, but I've done different things to make each of the copies an original. So for instance, this piece to the either left or right of it, however you're looking at it, is the same piece, but it's a portion of it. And then I made I did a background on it and set it into plaster, and then again patinaed the whole thing. And this, just as a fine,
which one?
My tools. So my
your tools, right? Show the tools.
Yes. So the tools that Rosalie used: spray bottle. Here's some shoe polish, a brush. All my favorite tools are right here. But my favorite tool that I work with is my thumbs, my hands. So, and that's basically what I taught Linda.
Yes, and there's no way I'm ever going to try it. Rosalie did it, but not me. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks. Okay, so that hand made me think, come on, Sarah, we got to do me and Sarah now. But it's really interesting, Mary. I'm seeing the whole gallery. I don't know, like
I'm not sure. You're not the only one. but some people are seeing it correctly and some people aren't. I'm guessing in
That's
some of
okay.
those devices.
Don't worry about it, because as long as I can see the person I'm talking to, we're great. And so I want you all to meet Sarah Leibowitz, who's sitting there
Hi,
until her son,
everybody.
until we get her son coming in from his baseball game.
Oh, everybody's in the peanut gallery's in, they're eating. So hopefully we have a little bit of quiet.
Okay, so I was talking about this earlier before all of you were on. Sarah is my niece, and I went rogue this time, and my publisher allowed me to have Sarah design my cover, because she is an award-winning creative director at a New York ad agency. But when I say that, I think of Mad Men. And did you all watch Mad Men? And Don Draper, who was the creative director? Well, Sarah is the woman in the men's room there, right? Are you
I
the
think-
only woman in there?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mad Men was actually based off of my life.
There we
director.
go. Congratulations to you. So that hand that Marcia just showed you, it's amazing because Sarah did not see that hand, but she understood the concept that I wanted, and she created the hands on, well, she created the whole cover, but there are hands on the cover that one of them is kind of like Marcia's. But I was at my grandson's bar mitzvah. Sarah was walking, I don't know, we were just chatting after the service. And I just asked her if she would like to do this for me to create my cover. And then we chatted about it, and then we talked more about it on the phone. And she really got my whole idea. So Sarah, can you tell a little bit about how you created it?
Absolutely. And also I just want to say it's such an honor to be on a call with so many creative women, and you, Marcia, the sculptor, and everyone holding up their books. So it's an honor. It feels really great to be talking to, this crew. So thank you for the invitation. In terms of the process, you had such a clear vision of what you wanted. And it felt really important to give that to you, because when you talk to people, when people have a very clear picture of what they want, and I can say this as a female creative, it's usually that once you start talking about that, it becomes somebody else's vision. And in particular, a man, you know what I'm saying, wink, wink, all of a sudden a little part of it becomes less of your own, and then it starts to morph and it starts to change. So from a creative perspective, it felt really, really important to honor your process and the vision that you had. And you were very clear with what you wanted. You said it was multi-generations of hands, one supporting the other. And I saw it in my head. I gave back to you what you were telling me, what I heard, and we were completely aligned. And I said, all right, let's get to work. So in terms of the process, it was really about, there's no magic button where you could say, give me a hand of sculptures with a necklace being woven through it. You've got to create that a little bit. So I found images of different hands within those same poses. One, like a thumb was a little off, so I kind of took it and turned it a little bit. Gave like the architecture of the sculpture. Sent that to you, Linda, as like, hey, this is just kind of like treat this like a sketch. It's kind of a rough sketch. We'll get to the details later. Once everything was in place, and then I started layering on the textures of what a sculpture would feel like. I've done some sculpture before, and my daughter always has like a pile. In fact, I'm sitting next to a pile of clay that's my daughter's. It's drying out because she didn't wrap it up. You would faint, Marcia. But I took a look at some of the sculptures that she had, took pictures of some of the textures of like the clay around that, and just really like built that on to the architecture of the hands that we agreed upon. And then it was like, the fun part was now we're getting into some jewelry design. Started building in the layers of like the filigree. You're very clear with, you were like, this is a necklace, it's gold and silver, it has an emerald pendant, and it's got really detailed ornate filigree around that. And I was like, message received. Found that sort of jewelry is like a little Art Deco. So I did a little bit of research of what Art Deco filigree looked like. And it's like pretty specific. And once you get that level of detail in your research, you really don't, it's not you're not really creating from scratch. You're pulling from the history of jewelry design. And once we did that, we kind of went to, like, we talked about what is the setting. And I gave Linda some options of like, are we going modern with this and going full emerald background? Are we going to put the sculpture in a studio? Because those are a different vibe. And then that was it. After we kind of like found the whole structure of it, we did a little post-processing with the color. Then we went back and forth with the, do you remember we were talking about the typography?
Yeah.
What felt right, what was really cool, but what, legibility was really important, but it had to have like a feeling to it. And what I loved, I learned a lot about book jacket design, because I made you like this really beautiful emerald necklace by Linda Rosen with this tiny Linda Rosen at the bottom. And she was like, oh girl, you got to make that bigger. So I made Linda Rosen nice and big at the top. And then that was it, really. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. It was great. And it was a whole learning experience for me, for Sarah. It was a wonderful experience. Thank you so much. Sandy Young. Sandra.
Hello.
Hi. Sandy writes as Sandra L. Young, and she has an appreciation for vintage clothing, which inspired her to write a series of 3 novels wrapping romance around historical mystery, fashion, and ghostly sizzle. Her debut, Divine Vintage, published in 2022, and followed by Divinely Dramatic later this year. She's just started a historical fiction featuring a real-life early 1900s Indiana heiress. And meanwhile, she's had a blast wearing pieces of her extension collection for signings and podcasts and presentations. And you can find her at sandrayoungauthor.com, and you can schedule an in-costume book club with her. But Sandy is standing up. If you can see the whole outfit, I see her in a little box, but if you can see the whole outfit, she's great. So tell us who she's dressing my characters. So anybody have an idea who she just dressed in that? If you've read the book? Well, Lisa,
Fran.
you know it.
Fran.
Oh, no. Tell him, Sandy.
Think later. This is more like 1960s. It's a brocade satin. And as Linda said, my brand is vintage clothing. Thank you, Lisa Montanaro. But I also put on, now this is a very old necklace. Don't know how well you can see it, but I love this necklace. This probably could be even Edwardian. Not a real emerald, I don't think, but gorgeous. But anyway, because of the theme of tonight, I put this on. So I am embodying the characters and what they would wear. And I could foresee Rosalie wearing this cool dress to the Rainbow Room, like Linda and I were talking.
Back in the 30s, yes. But
back
I
in
think
the
it's
30s.
fabulous.
Oh, well then, no,
Yes.
it's more recent than that. But
Okay.
if she was not going,
Well, she may have worn that to her gallery opening, which I just gave away a bit of the story.
Now, she wasn't going fancy though. She just hanging out with her girl pals, having a fun time going out. She might do this dress in Florida. Real cute little dress that I could not resist. This is a scarf. It's got like real little daisies on it.
Oh my gosh, from back then. Yeah.
And I thought, well, gee, that would just be too cute. Anyway. So
that's if she was in a convertible and needed to have her hair covered.
Exactly. So this is the interpretation of what we might see from a couple of outfits from Rosalie. And
what is that red dress you've got in the back?
The red would indeed. That would be Fran. Fran would wear that for a special occasion because that is real 20s, beautiful. This is fringe. Ladies and gentlemen, this has wonderful fringe. That.
Oh yeah.
See how that fringe would fly. And this piece I picked it up at a Salvation Army. It has a cute little jacket with it and another beautiful necklace. So I could see Fran wearing this piece. She was invited to a fancy affair. And then she would sashay around and shake her fringe.
Okay. Well, for those of you who haven't read the book yet, Fran, the book is set in 69, 70, 71, but Fran has this thing that she always wears clothes from the 20s, and it drives Rosalie nuts. Okay, so now for everybody to win this reusable tote bag, I have music in my book, and I am going to play a bit of a song. Got to find which one I want. What am I doing? Okay, it doesn't matter. I knew which. Okay, I'm gonna play a bit of a song, and then if you know the rest of the words, either raise your hand or put it, just raise your hand or shout it out, okay? Or put it in the chat. Anybody know
Can't
that
hear it.
song?
Didn't
Can't hear it.
Didn't hear it.
Oh, you couldn't hear it?
No.
Oh, poo.
You'll have to sing it for us, Linda.
No, I had all this fun stuff planned. Wait a minute. Let me try something else. Can you hear that?
No,
Well, that whole idea just went by the wayside. So I'm going to do it a different way. I was just playing you Traveling Man, which is part of just bits, that I use. I can't sing for beans, but I'm a traveling man, made a lot of stops. Does anybody know who sang Traveling Man?
Ricky
Nelson?
Nelson.
No. Who said that?
Marcia.
Okay, Ricky Nelson. All right, you got it. All right, I'm going to give you another one. I know Marcia's going to know the name of this, so keep it quiet.
Okay.
But you can't hear it, so
Sing a few bars.
I can't even sing that. No. Where did it go? Why can't you hear it? I don't understand. You can hear me talk, so why wouldn't you be able to hear this?
put it closer.
Autumn in New York. Why does it seem so inviting?
Billie Holiday. I'm in New
Billie
York.
Holiday.
Who just said that?
I did.
I did.
I get a prize.
Adrian, you get the
I get a
prize.
prize.
Yes, you get a
What
prize.
do I get?
You get a tote bag.
Thank you.
And Marcia, you get a tote bag if you want it.
Oh,
What? Wait a minute. I got another one. I got to find it now that I know how to do this, or better. This is really a throwback.
got it.
Who's that?
It's who?
It's a time. A time.
Graduation day?
Yes, graduation day. My brother gets another one. Okay.
We only heard like the first bar. It sounded like Bad to the Bone. Can you
Could
play
you
it
hear
again?
that one? Because I would imagine you could know that song.
Could you play it again?
Hold it closer.
Okay. Shit.
My girl.
What's
I
up?
can't hear it this time. My girl.
My
Well,
girl, who's that?
we saw
Okay.
the text. I didn't hear the music. We still got
Oh, Kelly.
We saw the lyrics. Gonna get
I
too
didn't miss Rose. I
so
gotta
bad.
go.
Okay. All right. That was an idea, but it's not playing out, I guess.
That's
But
okay.
are there any other questions?
You did have one earlier, which was I think it was from Lisa, which was the most difficult character to write and why?
You know, it's funny, I could tell you that from my other books. This one, they all just sort of came to me. I wasn't having a problem writing a character in this one. I was having more issues with the idea of reproductive rights. That was my problem about showing the different sides of it. But the characters just sort of came to me. I didn't have a problem writing them. Yeah. Anybody else have a question?
Thank you.
How do you feel about your book being about the abortion issue and abortion being so much in the forefront right now in our time?
Well, when I started writing this book, Roe v. Wade was law, and I never gave it a thought. I didn't set out to write a book that had abortion in it. I knew there had to be a secret and something around the emerald that was going to cause trouble between Rosalie and Fran, and how Jill was going to come into it. And it just, I don't know how these things happen, but it just came to me that there was going to be abortion in it. And so I did a lot of research about abortions back in the 20s and 30s, and also at the time, 69, 70. But Roe wasn't law at the time. They were fighting for Roe at the time. Roe v. Wade didn't become law till 73, but they were fighting for it. But as I was writing the book, I was very comfortable with it because it was law as I was writing the book. And as I was finishing the book, it went away. And I was really concerned. I was nervous about it. And my wonderful editor, Pamela, suggested that I write an author's note in the back of the book, which I did. And I wrote different things about the herbal abortions and how horrible they are and not to do them and other stuff. But I didn't know how it was going to go over. And so far, people are really, it's because it's historical fiction that resonates today. I'm fine. I'm pretty happy about it, actually. Somebody actually said to me I should send it to the Supreme Court. Any more questions? I can't do my music, but Adrian, you get a prize. Jerry and Marcia. Okay. I really wanted to do a sing-along. That was my thing. I kept saying we're going to do a little karaoke, but if you can't hear it, we can't do it. True. But does anybody want to sing a song from the 60s? Or what was your favorite song from the late 60s, early 70s? Do you have a favorite?
I'm in a trio actually, and we do a lot of 60s songs. I'm with two guys. Can I? Yeah, Lisa can too. And okay. we do some of our favorite songs like Bus Stop,
Bus Stop. Oh yeah.
Bus Stop. Bus Stop.
Lisa, do you know?
I can't remember the words without the.
Oh, you can't remember.
I don't know. I don't know Bus Stop. Sorry. I know. I'm trying to think of any really good 60s songs that I know. I'm going really far back. I'm thinking like some of the songs I'm thinking of were like 20s to 40s. So that's getting too old. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I know. Well, I mean, Sandy, you might have to think of some really good 60s songs and then send them to Linda, and she could get more on her playlist for her website under the Emerald Necklace.
We have a lot. I think this Magic Moment is that 60s? I sing that one.
That might be early 60s. Yeah.
That might be
Downtown. Petula Clark's Downtown.
Oh, Downtown.
Downtown. I've
Oh,
You
sung
want
that
to
one
sing it for
before.
us?
I don't know that one that well. I mean,
Ellie, you want to
I
sing?
don't really know. I just know because my sister's like 3 years older than me. Apparently, as a kid, she used to sing it all the time.
we
But
could
I
all
think it
just
goes
do
something like
downtown.
downtown, where all the lights are bright,
I go
downtown.
downtown.
Heard it through the
Downtown. That's all we
grapevine,
know.
Linda.
Yep,
I heard it through the grapevine.
Yep.
Is a
That's a
popular
Can you
one.
sing that one?
Marvin Gaye. Ooh.
That
You
was
want to sing
Marvin
that one,
Gaye.
Marcia?
Or Light My Fire. Come on, baby, light
yeah.
my fire. Remember
Well,
that?
the thing that, see, my playlist isn't just 60 songs. It's the music that's in the book. Like when they're in the car, they're listening to oldies stations. Or when Rosalie is sculpting, she's playing Ella Fitzgerald.
The man,
Or,
the man I love.
the man,
Ooh,
yeah,
that's a great
right.
one.
Yeah.
Someday
Man
he'll
I
come
love.
along, the man I love.
Very
Come on,
good.
Sandy. You can do it.
I sing
ahead.
summertime. I sing summertime. That's one
All
of them.
right,
I
there
do.
you go.
That's my
Okay, let's
fella.
hear you. Sing.
Summertime and the living is easy. Fish are jumping and the cotton is high.
Wow.
Good enough.
Hey, you are multi-talented. So is
Lisa
Lisa.
and I are going to
Singing,
have to.
acting,
Lisa and I have to work something
attorney,
up for
an
the
author, a brand, the whole thing.
actress. Yeah, yeah. Lisa
Yeah.
has all those things too.
Yes. And but what is your real day job, Lisa? I can't even explain it.
Don't worry about it. It's not important right now. What's important is the book. Woohoo!
Yes. And Lisa is also having a book coming out probably, I don't know, in a year, less than a year.
Probably a year. Yeah.
Yes. And working on my next book. Oh, it's really in teeny tiny. It's in embryonic stages, but I'm going out to California to meet Kelly over there, who lives in Culver City, because a character I'm playing with, it goes to Culver City in the 20s to become an actress. And Kelly's going to show me around. And we're going to pretend we're back in the 20s. Well,
Nice.
is there anything else anybody has? Otherwise, I am just so thrilled that you all came. Look at that. Betty Ann is here too. Well, how many pages do we have going? Just 2, right? Good.
I'm gonna have to leave, but I just wanted to say that I think you're fabulous. I'm so proud of you.
Thanks.
Linda and I work together in a book club in our Florida community, and you are impressive. And I just wanted to say congratulations, and I love you, and I have to go. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Take care.
I have to
And-
go too, and I'm thrilled to meet all of you. It's a very beautiful community of hardworking writers, and what a thrill. This was fun. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we all go, I see my friend Shelley's on here. You'll see her name is Shelley Fredon, but she writes as Shelley Noble. I am reading her book right now. Her book came out 2 days before mine. The Tiffany Girls. Get it. It's fantastic. Anything else? Because I just love the fact that you are all here. Oh, I see my M.W. Joyce. Hi. I'm sorry if I didn't even notice all your names, but thank you so much for coming. You made this one really, really special. Thank you. It's why I write. It's for readers.
We love
It's
you.
for you
We're so
guys.
excited for you. Yeah. And
Thank
I keep waiting for the first place, and I mean this with love, the first place that bans your book, I'm going to open a bottle of champagne and throw a party. Right?
I watched the Judy Blume documentary the other day, and I thought, oh, maybe they'll ban my books and I'll get just as famous as she
It's a rite of passage. The first time it happens, we're going to open some bubbly, you know.
Well, I actually was thinking today that I have to try to get it into the Barnes and Noble near me in Boynton Beach. That may not be allowed. It's Florida.
Oh, see.
Well,
It won't be-
congratulations.
It won't be banned in Canada, Linda. Have at it.
I know. I see you there. Deborah's all the way from Canada. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. And thank you, everybody for coming. And Mary, thank you a ton for doing this and for inviting me to be a tour guide back in 2020 when we debuted together, because my life has blossomed from it. So thank you.
You're a flower, Linda.
Thanks. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Everybody's just, I'm gonna go too.
All
But
right.
thank you.
And I'll close it
Thank
out.
you.
Bye.
Thank you so much.